Turkish Philanthropy Fund's Voices of Partners. Welcome to the Turkish Philanthropy Fund's Voices of Partners. My name is Didem Altop, and I'm going to be your host today for a wonderful session where we're going to be exploring the blue economy. And it's a new space for me as well. The blue economy is actually looking into the world of our marine world and some factors related to economic development in that area, and of course, environmental issues in that area, and some wonderful, some difficult challenges and some wonderful opportunities led by some amazing people. Today, we have with us from the Women in Fisheries Society, the chairman of the board, Kubra Ceviz. We also have board member Sevin Konkus, who is actually herself a woman in fisheries, in fishing. And also from the Marine Life Conservation Society, we have represented Beliz Falay. And we're going to have a chance to meet them and greet them all together in a moment. I would really like to start out. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? I hope you're doing very, very well. I know somebody's in Denmark, someone's in Istanbul, someone's in New York, we're all from around the world. Thank you so much for making time to get together today. I would really like to start off with three kind of rounds in our conversation. First, we would love to get to know you and your organizations at a high level. And then we would like to deep dive into some of the challenges that you're addressing and some of the amazing programs that you've launched. And last but not least, we would love to explore your collaboration with the Turkish Philanthropy Fund on specific projects. And we're going to have a wonderful half hour together. And maybe we can start with Women in Fisheries Society. Kubra, would you do me the favor of introducing yourself a little bit and talking about Women in Fisheries Society? There's a really interesting story there. I hope you'll share it.
Hi, Didem.
Hi.
Thank you for inviting us in this program. It is really great opportunity being with you in this time. We are very happy being with you and with wonderful women. So I can start to introduce myself. My name is Kubra Ceviz. My background is actually political science, but more than 10 years I am working for nature conservation, for marine conservation, because I love marine life. I love marine things, everything. So I shifted my background, and I'm continuously working on this area. Now I'm living in Copenhagen. I'm new mom. That's why I'm only working for our society as a volunteer. So should I speak about our story of society, or should I give?
Yes, please. Yes, please tell us a little bit about the society.
It is also a love story.
Yeah.
We 7 women met in 2012 in a project, in a marine conservation project funded by UNDP. There was a very nice part for fisherwomen. At that time, this story was inspired us deeply, and we, after this project, we worked in another fields. Everyone was working in another NGOs, international organizations, but we have been communicating continuously in this matter, gender in fisheries and gender in working life, as we face in our work all the time. Then we decided to focus on more and to have more voice in this field, and we decided to establish this society to more work together and act together. In a short time, we named, that's why our society, we named Women in Fisheries. It comes from there. It is also challenging for us. I will mention later that. But we mainly focusing to encourage women in marine sectors, not only fisheries, but also in all marine sectors, considering marine ecosystems, and also promoting and contributing blue economy concepts.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of that. We disseminate this concept in Turkey. Not, it was very, let's say, popular concept in Europe, but it was not familiar. I will mention more in
the next round.
Yeah.
Sure. Kubra, thank you so much. I mean, I think that what you guys have accomplished in a very short period of time is really quite impressive. And when you think about like the natural evolution of a society, I think the Women in Fisheries Society started with somebody's PhD thesis or something, right? It started as a thesis, and then it turned into a project, and then from a project it turned into an actual foundation and association. And then from the association, it started getting grants from multinational grant agencies around the world. And that happened very, very relatively quickly, I think.
Yes, I forgot to mention that it was also a part of master thesis, one of our board member. It affected much more than what we want to in our life.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to jump over to Sevin. Sevin Hanım, I'm going to do a little bit of translating with Sevin Hanım, and I'll be able to translate back and forth in a moment. Sevin Hanım, hoş geldiniz. Nasılsınız, iyi misiniz? Mikrofonunuz kapalı. Açabilirseniz.
Merhabalar Didem Hanım.
Merhabalar, hoş geldiniz. Demin işte Kubra Hanım'la tanıştık. Ondan sonra biraz da Kadın Balıkçılar Derneği hakkının kuruluş öyküsünü paylaştı. Sizi tanıyabilir miyiz? Siz aslında yönetim üyesiniz ve nasıl katılıyorsunuz aslında? Nasıl tanıştınız bu toplulukla ve sizin için ne ifade ediyor?
Ben de yollarım bir şekilde üniversitede bir seminerde kesişti arkadaşlarımla. Benim için artık çok şey ifade eder oldu. Yönetim kurulu üyesiyim ben de. Eş başkanlardan birisiyim. Aktif balıkçılık geçmişim vardı. Şu anda da yönetim kadrosundayım balıkçılık sektöründe. Bu arada Türkiye'deki tüm kadın balıkçıların selamını getirdim size.
Aleykümselam.
Evet, çok iyi oldu. Benim de dernek yani bana dinamizm kattı. Daha önceki kazanımlarımı paylaşıyorum. Ben de onlarla çok şey öğreniyorum. Ben de bilgilerimi aktarıyorum. Bu şekilde ilerliyoruz.
Karşılıklı. Şimdi İngilizce'ye çevireceğim ama çok memnun oldum tanıştığımıza Sevin Hanım. Birazdan tekrar konuşacağız daha. So Sevin Hanım actually is a woman in fishing. She met with the foundation during her university years, through her university studies. And it actually added, not only did she add a lot to the society as a co-chair of the organization, but the society also added dynamism to her own life and her own economic activities as well. So it's a mutual love fest, essentially. I think it's amazing how volunteer activities become so core and so critical to the things that we do, both personally and professionally. So I'm going to switch some gears because we're talking about women in fishery societies. But then there's a bigger picture, right? And that's where Beliz comes in with the Marine Life Conservation Society. And it's wonderful that these organizations are so complementary. Beliz, can we learn a little bit more about you and also what you're doing with the Marine Life Conservation Society?
Hey, first of all, I would like to thank you and Turkish Philanthropy Funds for inviting us on behalf of Marine Conservation Society. And very nice to meet you, ladies. And it's so exciting to see more women. My name is Beliz, and I do have a profession in shipping, in maritime, for a total of 22 years in US and in Turkey. I'm working for the society on a voluntary basis. And my way crossed with them after moving back to Turkey. And I actually very impressed by their enthusiasm, dedication, devotion, and fearlessness by doing all these work. So it really deeply impressed me, and I joined them. So I try to do help or trying to do things for them on volunteer basis.
That's wonderful. So what's the main mission of Marine Life Conservation Society? I mean, it's such a big field. Like, can you summarize it in maybe like 3 or 4 pillars of activity?
Okay, it founded in 2015 in Heybeliada in Prince Islands. And actually the intention of the society when it's founded was to create solutions and make measurable difference in marine ecosystem, by working on sustainable protection and providing a future for us. And this is the main idea. And we do have activities in coral transplantation, like coral guardians, let's say, and then ghost nets cleaning. We can say that like ghost nest busters. We try to raise awareness in the nation regarding conservation or protection of our seas, and how to prevent pollution. Also, we are working in monitoring biodiversity, protection of the species and the habitats of Marmara Sea. Also, we do have activities combining of this marine life, sea protection with arts and sustainable designs. Also, we are trying to support sustainable life. And also, we triggered an initiative for an island in Marmara Sea. After 6 years of struggles and all efforts, it's now declared as the first area in Marmara Island as a conservation area, Neandros Island. So these are some activities, or let's say the main activities of the society.
That's wonderful. Well, it makes perfect sense, actually, that you would be involved in marine life conservation, given your background in shipping too. That makes it's a kind of a dream come true, I think, for people who are from the sector, the shipping sector, and then their responsibility, their social responsibility to marine life conservation makes perfect sense. Your organization too, Marine Life Conservation Society, is also quite fascinating. Again, in a very short period of time, they really made big leaps and bounds. And I think it's fascinating that, well, 2 things. One is started off with like scientific research, right? But then that research went to action projects. So you're doing research and then you're doing action projects. You're doing research and then adding new action projects. And you're starting in specific areas, but then now you're expanding and scaling to other areas, which is really quite impressive. Thank goodness you guys exist. We need you. we need both of your organizations.
May I add one thing? Yes, of course, my profession is maritime. However, I have been born and raised in Marmara on an island. So this is my life. And as a person, as all human beings, we have obligations to this planet, and ignoring our environmental responsibilities is no longer an option. So we really have to take action personally, as a society, on bigger scale. So step by step, everybody should take some responsibility and take actions.
Right. So let's jump back to Kubra for a moment and talk a little bit about women in fishery societies. Some of your main activities include like micro grants for women in fishing societies, different education programs. Can you tell us, like, what are the biggest challenges beyond just gender and inclusivity? What are some of the biggest challenges that you're tackling as a society, and what kind of programs do you have?
Yes, as I mentioned before, in the beginning, we named our society Women in Fisheries, and people thought that we are only a society working for fishing sector. That's why people were demanding us to take action only for fishing activities. We try to explain. We have a big dream for to protect marine life, and it is marine biodiversity is decreasing, and we have climate change climate crisis, and especially small-scale fisheries, fishing, the families which are in this field are vulnerable in climate crisis. We wanted to explain why we wanted to be in this field for women, because women are not visible, are working, and also most affected women are most affected by climate crisis, and in this field, and they are working very hardly, and they are not visible. They have no right to say, hey, we are here, and we are affected by climate crisis, and so we wanted to take action, but when we want to speak with people, especially with men, they don't understand that we want to work with women. Why you are working only for women? Because they are vulnerable, because you didn't solve their problem for years. So
actually,
why? Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but actually it seems like women are not seen in the fisheries space, but there's actually quite a lot of them. Was it something like 1 out of every 30?
More than 100 in official records. But we know that if
like,
you see fishing family, small-scale fisheries, without women, you can make small-scale fisheries. Men are not going alone to go fisheries without women. They are not official fishermen, but they are helping their husbands or fathers or brothers. They are all in this field, cleaning everything and preparing before, after.
I see.
Women is working hard in this field.
So you're saying that when we're talking about women in fisheries, it's not like the woman who owns the boat who's actually doing the fishing. There's that, but there's also the whole spectrum of activity that goes along with fisheries, whether it's prepping, it's like before, during, and after the whole fishing process, right? So it's women's engagement in that whole process, you're saying.
Yes,
it's a much bigger field.
If you want to be an official fisherman, you have to be a partner of the cooperative. Women are not, for women, it is not easy if your husband is partner. You cannot be a partner of the cooperative, so you are not visible there.
So essentially then, are you solving that problem through this society as well? If they're not eligible to join most cooperatives, then you're creating an alternative for them.
They are eligible, but still not visible. But we raise this awareness in this field. Women knows that now. They have rights to be part of this cooperative, and they are. We know that now there is a collaboration with us. There is a leadership program. There are fisherwomen. They have more voices to their husbands.
Oh, fantastic. Really fascinating. So I'm going to jump over to Sevin Hanım again to talk about her own experiences. Sevin Hanım, size dönüyorum tekrar. Demin işte tabii ki Balıkçılar Kadın Derneği'nin kuruluş hikayesinin biraz daha derinine indik ve amaçlarını anlattık. İşte kadın kooperatiflerinin de söz hakkı, kooperatiflerde kadınların da söz hakkı ile ilgili. Sizin kişisel deneyiminiz neydi? Yani bu alanda çalışan bir kadın olarak neydi deneyiminiz ve ne gibi çözümler üretebildiğinizi düşünüyorsunuz?
Ben şöyle yaşadıklarımı söyleyeyim o zaman. İstanbul'da 48 tane su ürünleri kooperatifi var. Bir tane kadın temsilcimiz yok.
Bir saniye bunu tercüme edeceğim. So I've
Lütfen.
just asked Sevinç about her own personal experience as a woman in the fishing industry. And she said that there were 47 cooperatives in this space in Istanbul. And there, at the time, there hadn't been even one woman in any of those cooperatives. Devam edelim.
Evet, tek benim yönetimde 48 su ürünleri kooperatifinde ve bizim çatımız vardır birlik. Orada da yönetimdeyim. Yani şuradan çıkan ben şanslıyım. Tekne sahibiyim. Tekne sahibi olduğum için ortağım da. Kooperatiflere ortağım. Görünürüm yani. Lütfen.
Çok iyi. So actually I said 47, I should have said 48. There are 48 societies and Sevinç was able to actually enter those cooperatives at the governance level because she happens to also be a boat owner. So she really used her clout to be able to create a space and a voice for women in the fishing society, breaking that glass ceiling, let's call it, or that barrier. Sevinç Hanım devam edelim. Sonra ne oldu? Siz yönetime katıldınız ve ne oldu kadın olarak?
Yani şimdi ben karar mekanizmalarında görünür durumdayım. Bizim de dernek olarak amacımız kadınların %1 dahi olsa, %10, %1 teknelerinde hisse sahibi olmalarını diliyoruz, uğraşıyoruz, farkındalık yaratmaya çalışıyoruz. O zaman kadınlar da kooperatiflerinde ortak olabilecekler.
Okay, bunu da tercüme ediyorum.
Lütfen.
So Sevinç Hanım says that when she entered the governance structure of these commissions, she actually started lobbying that women should be shareholders in their husbands or their families' shipping assets so that they were also eligible to participate in the commissions as a representative, as a member of governance structures, etc. So it's even if they own like just a teeny tiny share of equity in those assets, they actually become super empowered to be a spokesperson for the sector, both as a woman and for the sector in general from a woman's perspective. So it's a small thing. It seems like such a small thing, but it's a huge twist in terms of empowerment. Sevinç Hanım çok teşekkür ederim. Çok ciddi bir aslında ivme kazandırmış oluyorsunuz. Sanki çok küçümencik bir şey. Hani küçümencik hisseder bile aslında kadının oradaki konumunu bir anda çok katalizör rolü sunuyor aslında. Çok enteresan bir açık yakalamışsınız. Çok teşekkürler. İlave etmek istediğiniz bir şey daha var mıydı?
Keşke bir kadından kooperatiflerde bir başkanımız olsa, bir kadın başkanımız olsa. Bir de bu da çok güzel. Kapsayıcı, birleştirici olacağına inanıyoruz biz hepimiz dernek olarak.
Bence ona da ulaşırsınız. Çok emin adımlarla ilerliyorsunuz.
Çok teşekkür ederim.
So I just asked Sevin Hanım if she'd like to make a final comment, and she said, the big aspiration is to have a woman actually being one of like the chair people of one of these cooperatives. And that I think aspiration is within reach. So, I mean, it's really interesting to see Beliz, this women in action from the economic side, but all of this depends on biodiversity in general for the sustainability side. Could we talk a little bit more? You gave us a little teaser about the coral reef transplants and the ghost nets. Can you tell us more what that means? Like, why do you need to transplant reefs? And what's with the ghost nets?
Okay, I am not a scientist.
Okay, fair enough.
As it's well known, corals can be considered as the rainforests of the seas because they are hosting all these biodiversity and things. So we have to protect them. And also Marmara Sea is a special sea because the top like 20-25 meters is Black Sea and there is a middle lane and underneath is Mediterranean. So the seabed or the creatures in Marmara is actually the same with the Mediterranean, the Aegean. So we have to protect it. Also, what we do in terms of coral transplantation, because of all these construction, pollution, by human actions, the coral under Marmara Sea are broken. So our team, our volunteer members, the society, what they do is they are collecting the broken branches from Sivriada and then carrying them all the way to this Neandros Island, which is now a protection area, and dive again and put them on the rocks, let's say, and then there's going to be a coral reef over there, and actually there's 25% success ratio, and which is well respected ratio all over the world. So we did quite well on this project. So, and what we see is these little babies now.
Wow, the baby corals are growing.
Yes,
wow.
The baby corals. So because it takes very long time for corals to grow, if I'm not mistaken, just a couple of millimeters they grow each year. So let's say for this size of coral, it takes 4 years to grow. So we are trying to maintain the marine life underneath Marmara. And also, I do have a picture here because we cannot share,
I know, I'm sorry about that.
For example, this is one of the pictures. I don't know if you can see. They are trying to transplant these little corals on the.
Is that a stick that's like transplanted?
Yes, it's a special glue kind of sticker that works underneath, which is not polluting the water. So marine glue, it worked really well. So, you know, what they're doing is they're taking these corals, baby broken corals, and transplanting them. If I can move to ghost nets, this is another big project which we are trying to pursue. We all hear about ghost nets, but what is a ghost net? They are the fishing nets that have been abandoned, lost, or discarded in the oceans or in the seas. Unfortunately, these ghost nets underneath the water continues to trap passively the habitants of the sea, like fishes, turtles. They can break the coral reefs. So these are continuously working as a killer. So what we're trying to do is finding them with drones, cruising around with a drone, trying to find where they are. And after identifying the location of the ghost nets, then our teams of volunteer divers, they go underneath and remove them. But it's a very challenging, risky, hard process. It's not like the coral transplantation project. For example, for the coral project, we invite, students from the universities related with the studies, this kind of studies,
marine biology,
can come and participate in this kind of work. However, the ghost net removal is, as I said, a very risky one. It's kind of a different profession because you go about like 50 meters. And you can yourself can even get trapped to those nets. Exactly. It's a risky operation, so it is done by our volunteer professional divers.
That's fascinating. I mean, the transplant issue is an amazing opportunity, I think, for marine biologists, especially if you have students and they're volunteers. It's a beautiful project. The Ghost Net Cleanup Project is another level of volunteerism.
Exactly.
But I mean, for people who are avid scuba divers, and I think, maybe I'm sure you're training them also on safety and security and stuff. It could also be a really fascinating volunteer opportunity there too. Probably you have a system for that as well.
Yes.
How you're training them.
For the ghost nets, no. Because it's a very small team. You have to know each other very well for this kind of operation under the water.
Wow.
So, yes. So actually, it's a small team that undertakes this operation.
Yeah, it's an elite team, it sounds like, because they have to be really, really synchronized with each other, I can imagine.
Exactly.
And actually, the Ghost Net Cleanup is your partnership with the TPF fund, right? So that's the campaign that right now, the Ghost Net Cleanup, you're trying to expand your coverage for the Ghost Net Cleanup, from what I understand.
Yes, I wish I could show some videos, but after this webinar, maybe you can share because it will be much more easier for people to understand the operation that's undertaken, as well as, you said that in a very short period of time, how the society expanded. As I told you, I was impressed with the devotion of the people because there is, it's all done on volunteer basis, everybody. Yeah. And, we really need budget for equipment and all these kind of things. For example, when first the society started to remove the ghost nets, we didn't have money to buy, these inflated balloons, let's say, to take these ghost nets up to the water level. At that time, first they started doing it with plastic barrels.
Ah, interesting.
Yes,
yeah.
On a very basic, primitive solution.
Yeah.
And
still creative,
they couldn't buy the original ones. They, had it produced for themselves as, a simpler version. So it is costly, and we are trying to find budget for this operation as much as possible. And I also mentioned before, now we have this Neandros Island as a protection area. We are trying to establish a station to observe and record what's going on the island so that we can interfere or take action. So we have lots of projects. Everybody is enthusiastic, have big dreams. So we believe that, again, in a very short period of time, we are going to take bigger steps.
I mean, the whole country is kind of like a peninsula, right? So the whole country of Turkey, you have so much coastal line around the country. And obviously the blue economy and the marine economy is a huge part of Turkey's economic asset base. So I would think that the ghost net cleanup is a really key issue for the fishery industry in Turkey.
If may I have one more minute to add something? For example, this year we have signed a partnership with Istanbul University. Okay. Yes, so it's going to be the projects or the activities will be more on scientific level. And for example, with this ghost nest project, at the end of the year, there's going to be a report prepared based on the data collected. Let's say how many tons of nets has been collected, what creatures was trapped. These going to be, all these data will be recorded, and then we're going to have a scientific report in this regard as well.
That's going to be amazing. So there's a huge impact that you're tracking during this project. It's going to be really, I mean, that's what I love about your organization. You have the scientific research side together with the action side, that you're doing them both together. It's really quite impressive, and it's quite rare, actually. It's wonderful that you're doing it that way.
With people, all different backgrounds. And so far we have collected 32,000 square meters ghost nets from Marmara.
Wow.
Yes.
Can you recycle those too? Is there a whole recycling initiative as well?
Yes, of course. It's one of the, main ideas. Just collecting is not enough. What we have done is, after collecting of these nets, some of them has been recycled. For example, women in the island, local people did some netting and then made bags and they sold them. And for example, street dogs and animals has been fed with the income with those bags. Oh, also, wow. Yes. And for example, to the east side on Turkey, the plantations for tomatoes and these things, we sent some of the nets for covering these plants.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Sera, yes, covering.
Sera.
And there was actually an art exhibition, Deep Current, in Heybeliada, in the preschool, Ruhban Okulu. There was an exhibition in this regard as well. And now we have also signed a partnership with one of the white appliance producers in Turkey, which they are going to recycle and produce, let's say, small parts of the white appliances, let's say button or washing machine. So
fascinating. I mean, it's such a chain reaction. I can't wait to see where this goes.
Just removal is not enough. We have to reuse and recycle and upcycle.
Yeah, fascinating. So I actually think that now after today, you also have a new alliance partner, because I think all the women in the Fisheries Society can be really good ambassadors for you on the ghost net cleanup and like coral protection awareness building. Which brings us back to Kubra and to Sevin about the Blue Growth Academy. Kubra, can you summarize what the Blue Growth Academy aims to achieve?
Yes. Before that, I would like to mention our project, which we have done last year, because this academy idea was coming from there.
Grew from there, I see.
Yes. We named Blue Planet, Blue Jobs, this project. It was very small funding, but it affects more people in a short time. We aimed with this project to promote, disseminate blue economy concept together with traditional way, because with this project we like innovated. I can't say innovated.
Sure.
We collected more than 20 recipes, homemade recipes for canning fish in a traditional way, and we collected them. We made it a book, and we shared these recipes via social media and online training, and we reached more than 600 women, fisherwomen, plus women in general. They know that now they learned how to can fish if they don't consume freshly. Why it is important? Because there is huge waste of fish after harvesting.
Yes.
There are some reasons. Sometimes fish are small size or don't have economic value or not demanding, and it is huge waste. And now we say that there is an opportunity to reuse this fish, and you can conserve and use another way, and you can benefit also from this food, which is also has nutrition. Yes, for babies, for kids, it's very important. After this project, it recently finished. We had a dream to promote, to disseminate this idea more in Turkey, and that's why we wanted to establish an academy. We want to teach this knowledge, disseminate this knowledge more people, together with using some blue economy materials like innovation, finance, food safe, partnership, and collaboration and communication, and you can benefit whatever you want in this field for the adaptation of climate change, because in coming years they will face more problem for fishing sector, and we need to find another incoming solutions for them. So this academy came from this idea, and it is costly because we need place, we need fund for this dream to make it real.
Sure. How many people do you plan on reaching through the academy over the next, I don't know, is it 3-year program? Is it a 5-year program? Is it?
It was a longest program that we dreamed, not a short time.
So it'll keep going. Yeah.
Yes, we want to have place. Also, we want to produce this canned fish, and we want to sell them.
So it'll be both a training academy, but also a vocational academy as well.
Yeah.
So you'll be creating products and services for sale as well.
Yes.
So it'll start generating revenue. That's great. So it's real social enterprise, actually.
Yes. You cannot sell food products from home. So you need some rules.
Sure. You need a structured, you need a certified space to be able to do that, which is wonderful. So this is almost all the time we have today, actually. So thank you, everybody, very much. Kubra Ceviz, Sevin Konkus from the Kadın Balıkçılar Derneği or the Women in Fisheries Society, and Beliz Falay from the Marine Life Conservation Society. We've had a wonderful conversation about the blue economy, women's role in the blue economy, the challenges of the blue economy, and the opportunities within the economy. And of course, all these creative solutions that both of these organizations are pursuing. If you would like to get involved in supporting the collaboration with these organizations and TPF, please check out our call to action donation pages. We have donate.tpffund.org. There's a campaign for Women in Fisheries Society. And there's also, again, donate.tpffund.org, campaign for the Marine Life Conservation Life is the name of the link. But one is about the ghost net cleanup and the other one is about the Blue Growth Academy. And when we post our videos, clips, we're also going to be sharing all of those links. I believe we even have some links from the Marine Life Conservation Society that we're going to be sharing together when we post our links in the near future, very, very soon. So thank you again. This is Turkish Philanthropy Fund, Voices of Partners, Environmental Special. It's been a pleasure. Çok teşekkür ederim Kübra Hanım, Beliz Hanım, Sevinç Hanım. Çok teşekkürler.